All right, thank you for tuning in to another edition of Casual Highlights, where we strive to educate, inform, and inspire while having a casual conversation about sports. My name is Al Hot. Thank you for tuning in to today's video. So, quick rundown of topics. First topic, the double standards of Brian Kelley and Lincoln Riley. Deion does it again. And Notre Dame coaches Marcus Freeman and Tyrone Willingham. Now, we're gonna start with the double standard of Brian Kelley and Lincoln Riley. Now, as you all know, both of these gentlemen have moved on to greener pastures. They're both making about 9.5 apiece. Brian Kelley signed a 10-year contract worth about $9.5 million per season. Got him $100 million. Lincoln Riley signed him a similar deal, but he getting both his houses paid for in by the USC athletic department. They're gonna, in his contract, they're gonna buy both his houses in Norman, Oklahoma, allegedly. Let me put that allegedly in there because that has not been finalized. But we need to have an education moment. We need to have an education and information moment about Brian Kelley and Lincoln Riley. Let me get this off my chest. I'm excited. I'm ecstatic. I love the drama. Who's gonna take what job? Where people moving? I'm kind of into that stuff. Who gonna be the coordinator? Who gonna be the position coach? Who gonna be the strength and conditioning coach? And all that lovely jazz. So, as I look at this situation with Brian Kelley and Lincoln Riley, there's a lot of yap. Oh, he shouldn't have did this. Why they wait? But the poor kids. What about this? What about that? And I was watching one of my favorite sports shows, The Herd with Colin Cowherd, and Joe Clack, out of everybody, made an interesting statement. Let me read what he said. Quote, "Every one of us is for sale in our career. There's 2 reasons it will not happen for you. Number 1, either you're not valuable enough to leverage the sale, or you're under contractual obligation that prevents you from going. That's the 2 reasons why you won't take it, because you're under an obligation, or you ain't got the mouthpiece to leverage what you want." I about said, man, and we can call it, in the church world, we say somebody fall out. That'll be it in the church world. And he is so right about that particular point. There was no the way the rules are set up in college football, pretty much every man for himself. Now with NIL, players getting their money, coaches getting their money. We got transfer portal. We got stuff going all over the place. First of all, because you also got to look at the fact that this early signing period in December, these teams have to get their coaches in place so they can bring recruits in. So you mean to tell me Brian Kelley should have waited until the season over? What if they make the playoff? So then by the time they're done, that they're not done till January 9th. The early signing period is over for LSU by then. Hello, he didn't really same way with Lincoln Riley. They probably wish they would have done it. They wanted to do it in a better way. They probably wanted to stay to finish their season out with their team, but because of the rules set up by the NCAA, they had to make a move. Now, why you getting mad at? Ain't nobody need to be getting mad at Brian Kelley or Lincoln Riley. If you got a problem, you need to go take your problem up with the NCAA up in Indianapolis, Indiana. Get on them. Don't get on no Brian Kelley or no doggone Lincoln Riley. As far as Lincoln Riley and Brian Kelley is concerned, Billy Napier, all y'all boys, man, get y'all money. But players, get your money too. You know what I said earlier in my previous video. Everybody getting paid right now. You hear me? Let me get off my soapbox. But in life, I got the quote that Joel Klatt made. I'm gonna have to put this on some poster paper or something and put this in my future studio. Everyone is for sale. Here's the education moment right now. You are for sale. I am for sale. YouTube representatives are for sale. Brian Kelley gonna be for sale again. Well, he under 10-year agreement right now. You know that boy, they cut up in Baton Rouge right now. If he decide to get up and go somewhere and roll out. Anyway, everybody is for sale. There's two reasons why it will not happen for you, because you're not, and the key word is you're not valuable enough. Are you making yourself valuable each and every day you wake up to be able to leverage what you want in your life? Hello, somebody. Are you valuable enough? The contractual, I understand, but even within the contractual in certain areas, even in your city, you can still be able to leverage yourself. This should be a learning lesson for you. This is a learning lesson for me. This is a learning lesson for anybody who's watching this video right now who's going to comment. This is the education part right now. Are you valuable? What is your value to the table right now? Brian Kelley has given value. 12 winning. He has won everywhere. He has won a national championship at Division II level. He won at Central Michigan. He's won at Cincinnati. He won 12 years at Notre Dame, which is hard to recruit Notre Dame. This man had to fly, had to zigzag all over the country to come to a private school because the GPA standards are not just a 3.0, not just a 3.5, but you at least got to have a 3.8. Sometimes even with a 3.8, you might not be able to get into that particular school, to a cold location called South Bend, Indiana. He made himself valuable. Lincoln Riley, when he took over Bob Stoops, he kept winning Big 12 titles after Big 12 title, produced 2 Heisman Trophy winners. He was valuable. What are you doing to make yourself valuable? Them boys getting paid right now, so now they're getting handsomely rewarded because they made themselves valuable over the years. Every day they woke up every day, said, "How can I be better? How can I be a better coach? What can I do to be a better leader to my team, to my family, to my school?" I wasn't even trying to go that way, but good Lord, googly muggly. They ain't have no contractual obligation. So yeah, get your money. Get your money. Get your money. Like Deion said, must be the money. And why some of y'all sitting up here upset because they left and because they left too early, they shouldn't have did that. Man, check your values right now. Check your value. Are you valuable enough in your career? Hey, before you start pointing fingers at somebody else, because you mad because you ain't got no duffel bag like them. You ain't got no coach at Louis Vuitton. Well, that might not be your thing. I don't know. Shucks. But yeah, congrats to Brian Kelley. Congrats to Lincoln Riley. Congrats to Billy Napier. And we're going to get on this next one. Congrats to Marcus Freeman, who is now the second black head football coach of Notre Dame football. 35 years young, with the defensive coordinator, and he's going to be taking over for Brian Kelley. What I like about this particular move is that I was thinking maybe Luke Fickell. I was like, okay, Marcus Freeman, are they going to give this to him? Are they going to really let him run the ship? And one thing with this Marcus Freeman move that I love the fact is that they had players step up in his corner to say, we want to play for Marcus Freeman. The entire Notre Dame staff, Brian Kelley staff, is not leaving. They're staying intact at Notre Dame to play for Marcus Freeman, to be under his leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, the tide has turned, because when Tyrone Willingham was coaching back in 2002 to 2005, Tyrone Willingham, his first year, he came in 2001. So Tyrone Willingham was the coach of the year at Notre Dame. I think he went 9-4. Man, let's get the correct record because we're not gonna do an allegedly on that one. But I remember Tyrone Willingham at Stanford. I remember him. He won the Rose Bowl when they won the Pac-10. When it was the Pac-10, he was at Stanford. They went to the Rose Bowl, lost to Wisconsin. Then they went to the Insight.com Bowl. No, we're just going to pull it up right now. And then he got hired at Notre Dame. And he was the first black head coach in any sport on that campus. So we got it. So Marcus Freeman, please give your flowers to Tyrone Willingham. I hope you probably had given him a call to really understand the pressure that you're going to be facing as a black head coach. Now, it's a little bit, times have changed because that's been about a 15, 16-year gap since Tyrone Willingham left. So when Tyrone Willingham was the coach at Notre Dame, let's see, his first season, he got hired December 31st, 2001. And he started in 2002. And he went undefeated. Man, Tyrone Willingham was on Sports Illustrated. And they finished the season in the Gator Bowl, and they lost to North Carolina State 28-6. So they finished that season 9-4. 9-4. 2003 they finished 5-7. And then in 2004 they finished 6-6, and then Tyrone Willingham got fired. And I remember on Mike and Mike in the morning, Mike Greeny was like, "Wait a minute, now he had a winning record. Why? He had two winning seasons, 2 out of 3. What was going on between Sunday and Friday? You're winning on Saturday, so what was going on between Sunday and Friday?" And I didn't like it. And then he went to Washington. And the rest, yeah. And that was Tyrone Willingham's career. And Tyrone decided to retire. Okay, here we go. 2002, Notre Dame finished 10-3. 2003, he was 5-7. In 2004, he was 6-5. Okay, so we got it correct. But how Tyrone Willingham was a trailblazer for Marcus Freeman. I believe now Marcus Freeman, because you have players who stepped up in his corner, you have an administration, you have the coach, you have the women's basketball coach who took over for Muppy McGraw. Her last name is Ivy. Ivy was a player under Muppy McGraw and won a championship back in 2000. I remember that very well because they beat UConn. And in that same Final Four, there was a girl in Missouri, Southwest Missouri State, which is called Missouri State now, named Jackie Stiles. Jackie Stiles was a hooper. Anyway, but Ivy helped Muppy McGraw win her first championship, and so she's the women's coach at Notre Dame. So now, I think, and this goes back to, I hate to bring this up. Well, this needs to be brought up. The George Floyd effect. I think the George Floyd's death affected so many different things when it comes to looking at, from entertainment with black people, to politics, to business, to travel, to sports, to movies, to blacks in leadership. His death really opened the conversation for others. His death really opened the eyes of not just America, but the world, to look down in the inside of their heart, to really understand the plight of black people and really understand them as a human being. And so I think we thank Tyrone Willingham as the leader of the group of being a trailblazer, but we also need to give credit to, I hate giving credit, but George Floyd's death really opened the eyes. And so now you're being able to get more, there's more sensitivity and more understanding. So Marcus Freeman, one of them people we said earlier, building value every day, coming into the work, he's built value. He's been a defensive coordinator at Cincinnati. This was his first year at Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman had a chance to be on Ed Orgeron's staff, but turned it down and said, I'm gonna go coach with Brian Kelley, and produced one of the best defenses in the country. and they only lost one game, and that was to Cincinnati by 4 points. That was a very close game that Cincinnati won. And Cincinnati might make it to the playoffs over Notre Dame because of that one game that Notre Dame lost. And that defense was under Marcus, about to call the boy Marcus Peterson, but Marcus Freeman. So we think Tyrone Willingham as the trailblazer to step in that position of head coach. You know, stayed there 3 years. It didn't work out. But who, matter of fact, because the girl's last name, the women's basketball coach, Notre Dame women's basketball coach. Make sure we get her name. Neil Ivey. We thank her because she was the second black coach at Notre Dame. And that paved the way for a Marcus Freeman. You got everybody on your staff coming back now. That probably, if this was 2002, that probably wouldn't have happened. I hate to say it, that wouldn't happen. But now you have a staff. You got Tommy Reese, who was a former quarterback, who was, I think, was interviewed for the job to be Notre Dame's coach. You got a young, 35 years old. Man, that's, man, in your 30s. Dang. And we also got to think another trailblazer. Sean McVay, the head coach of the LA Rams, because he got his first coaching gig at 31 years old. And it's really about leadership. It's really about, it's not about, sometimes, like Pretty Ricky said, age is nothing but a number. Hey, it's about what's on the inside of here. It's all about what's on the inside of here and what value are you bringing to the table to leverage. I might need to change my title. That might be the title. What value are you bringing to leverage to the table? Shout out to Joe Clapp, by the way. Anyway, let's get to the last topic. Let's get to the last topic today. Deion Sanders has done it again. So I saw this video with this young lady named Brittany Renner. I never heard of Brittany Renner before until the end of this summer. And I saw all these videos with her and PJ Washington. And I said, please don't tell me PJ Washington caught up one of these Kardashian females. It is nonsense like Tristan Thompson and Devin Booker and Reggie Bush and Chris Humphries and Lamar Odom, man, and Kanye West, man. Please don't tell me he with this VH1 life of the basketball wife. Please don't tell me. What? And I saw the girl. I said, Brittany, oh. And I didn't know the girl. I thought the girl was 22, 23. The girl 29 and PJ 22. I said, oh, he pulled a cougar and got her pregnant. Oh, she was playing the role of cougar out here. Oh, okay. Anyway, I think the lady very pretty. You know, she went to HBCU, Jackson State. You know, that's rival to Southern. So ain't no boom in the Sonic. Anyway, neither here nor there. But Deion invited her. And we got to give credit to where credit is due. Deion is exposing his players, giving exposure to everything that his student athletes will go through, whether they go to the NFL, whether they go the business route, whether they become in the education class, in the classroom, whatever they do in life, he's bringing exposure about things that go on in the world. College is like this. College is not for everybody, okay. But I believe college, going away to school, it gives you some time, an extra time to prepare for life. It gives you a little extra time to prepare for life and what you're about to experience in life. That's one of the good things about going to college, because sometimes I think people need that extra preparation. You know, certain careers or you might want to play sports or certain majors. You need an extra 4 years. And you kind of that time to really figure out that's the time you really need to figure out who you are and learn about yourself. But most times we have all these different distractions in people at that age, 18 to 23, you know, they don't really take the time out to learn about themselves because they're so excited. You know, they're brainwashed for this stuff. And what Deion was doing, He brought Brittany in. He's brought other people in. He brought, rest in peace to Young Dolph. Young Dolph came in there. Chad Ochocinco came down there. Well, Chad Johnson formerly came down there to speak to the team. He's brought Michael Strahan, and he's brought several other prominent people, business owners, entertainers, entrepreneurs. And he's getting all this, Deion is getting all this stuff at his slack now about, well, why you pretty much, and something, let me break it down. They ain't like a hoe coming up in there talking to these players. They ain't like no borderline prostitute, no video vixen. That's the problem. That's the problem with some of these people right now are making the comments. But listen, I love it. You might as well bring it. You might as well talk about the game and how the game is played on both sides. Shoot, if Deion wanted to bring some strippers in there, it must be the money. Bring the strippers in there to talk to these men about the different traps of what's going on, about the different check marks. I love it. I love the exposure Deion is doing. And I'm even hearing people in the media, not the ESPN, the Fox Sports of the world, and the Athletic, but these other little companies that they're making these little sly comments about, oh, Deion is all about himself. Oh, we watching you. We know who you is out there at some of these little YouTube channels with 10 or 15,000 people. I'm watching your homeboy. Deion a good coach, but at the end of the day, he all about himself because he went in and did the TCU interview, and he may have did, he may have not. Once again, let me go back to the quote Joe Klatt said. There's two reasons it will or will not happen for you. You're not valuable enough to leverage the sale, or you're in a contractual obligation. So if Deion decided to leave, well, he decided, hey, his season is up, his time is up. But he's made himself valuable. He enough to leverage what he wants. Anyway, let me get off that. But I love that he invited Brittany Renner. I love it because Brittany Renner, former, these guys, about half that team is probably following Brittany and what Brittany is doing. Brittany's also Jackson State alum. So she was an athlete. So she's able to relate on the athletic level, on the Jackson State level, on the HBCU level, and is able to talk, to communicate a certain language that other people might not be able to communicate with a Brittany. And people are now showing their colors about jealousy. People are really showing their colors about what they really feel about certain people. But I love it. They don't even like Deion. These other big time schools trying to figure out what's the formula, because Deion is going to produce. I believe if he stays at Jackson State long enough, he's going to break the record of Eddie Robinson and how many players Eddie Robinson sent to the NFL. He might do that in 3 years. He might. Eddie was there 57. Eddie was there 57 years at Grambling State. I think Deion gonna send a bunch of players. Put it like this: there was one time in the league, most of the NFL went to Grambling, went to Southern, went to your Florida A&M, went to your Alabama State, your Jack, all through the South to get the talent. And these Bear Bryant, if you understand the history, Bear Bryant was trying to figure out the formula. Let's see who else. Joe Paterno. They was trying to figure out what's going on. Well, we need to recruit some of these black athletes to come to our school. They was being recruited at like USC in California. I think the coach name was McKay. They was recruiting up there at Michigan State. I can't think of the coach's name at Michigan State. He recruited like 5 or 6 black players at one time, brought them all in together at one time, like that. And but the SWAC was producing them, producing Hall of Fame players, producing them. You look at the steel curtain. Half of that steel curtain was from at the SWAC conference. Maybe about 3/4, but I think Mel Blount went to Southern. Wait a minute, Mean Joe Green. Did he go to? He didn't go to Grambling. Did he go to Southern? He went to an HBCU. I can't think of. He went to some school in Texas. I don't know if it's Prairie View or A&M. One of them. But put it like this: Deion is switching a culture. The culture is changing. The game, things are not going to be the same like they used to be. And I'm gonna end with this note from my great friend Joe Clapp. That's why I watch Colin Cowherd. Shout out to Joe Clapp. Every one of us is for sale in our career. Every one of us. It's 2 reasons it will not happen for you. You're not valuable enough to leverage the sale, or you're under a contractual obligation that prevents you from going. As I close, ladies and gentlemen, don't be that one who can't leverage your sale, leverage the sale of yourself. That's my time. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Casual Highlight. If you like this content, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Go ahead and leave some comments at the bottom. Let me know what you think. If you're on YouTube, that's on YouTube. Now, if you're on Instagram, I'll go ahead and post this video on the Instagram. Go ahead and follow the page. I'm a young, up-and-coming sports journalist. I'm just wanting to talk about sports, but also educate, inform, and inspire while having a casual conversation about sports. Until next time, my name is Al High. God is love, and disrespect your senses.